Okay, guys, well, obviously this was a hard-fought game today. I thought our team competed at a really high level. I thought our kids had a great energy level. I thought they came out with great grit and determination. We played a hell of a first half. I thought in the second half there was just a couple series there on both sides of the ball. We got a little bit unglued, got a little bit off track, and that hurt us. I mean, we were exchanging blows with this team. This team has got a bunch of fifth-year seniors on it. Got a quarterback that's, I think, the best quarterback in the league without a doubt. I think their offensive line, their left tackle's a first-round pick. They've got top NFL level receivers in here, and they've got a bunch of fifth-year seniors. And I thought our team came in, and I thought, we competed really, really hard in this game, really hard. I was proud of the way our team went after this game. I thought it showed a lot at the end of the season here with no bye weeks, nothing. We came back last week, we played a real hard physical game. We came in this week, played a real hard physical game. So I'm proud of our football team. This is something that we can really build off of here, and that's a really exciting thing. A bunch of guys were getting a bunch of plays and reps in there, and I just like the demeanor of everybody. So when I came off of this thing, out of the locker room, that's what I told our team. I said, this is a great challenge for us now to have a tremendous offseason, to be able to come in here and just make it the hardest offseason we've ever had here at Temple, and to really build that toughness and that character in a young football team. But the promise that was shown on the field today, I thought was tremendous. And to think that with such a young football team, you know that you got something good in the makings. People have asked me also, so next year will be great. Well, it's not a one-year process. That's a little comical. But I mean, we're headed in a super phenomenal direction right now with a bunch of good young players, and we're going to build it over time. We'll be more experienced and better next year, and then we'll grow the following year. It's not a one-year deal. However, the future is very bright, and it was exciting to see that on display. Some young teams, by the time you get to the last game of the year like this, you start falling apart and giving in, and there was no give in here. We're thin. I mean, Matt Brown, arguably one of the very best players on our team, wasn't even in the game today. What would that have meant to us in kickoff returns and punt returns and running the ball? We haven't been fortunate with that this year, but that's the luck. That's the luck of the draw. And I'm not a whiner, but we haven't had that. That hasn't been on our side this year. And with the team coming in for the first time, a young team, that would have been good to have, but our kids didn't blink on it. Jalen Fitzpatrick went back there, Montel went back there to return punts, and we just kept grinding. That shows you something about a demeanor of a team. We handle ourselves on that field with class. I'm proud of the way our team competes out there. With our team, there's no nonsense. We just go out there and we play and we grind, and that makes me proud of our football team. So I like the future. I like where we're headed. I can't wait to have a great off season. Can't wait for recruiting. Can't wait for all those good things to come right now. And I'm sure the city is excited as well. They should be, because there's something really good and positive brewing here in Philadelphia right now. And I don't think I've ever been more energized in my coaching career than I am right now, because it really fires me up right now to be around this group of guys that we have. I'm sad for our seniors. I told them today they were trailblazers. They took their senior year and they had to come in 6 months' notice into this conference, and they had to lay themselves down so everyone else could walk over them in the future. And that's what they did. They were like trailblazers. They came in here and cut a path. They cut a path. And we'll take that path, and we're going to grow on that path. So there's a lot of great things here. A lot of credit to Syracuse. Syracuse has got a chance to be bowl eligible and to be able to go on and play in a bowl game with their fifth-year senior team. And they've got a quarterback probably comes around. You get a guy like that last time was when I was there. We had Don McNabb at Syracuse. We won the Big East Conference, went on to a VCS Bowl. So there's great. They've got a lot of good football players there, and I'm happy for them. And we wish them nothing but great successes as they move forward. So. We come out of this thing disappointed. We come out of this thing as competitors drained, but we also come out of this thing energized and ready to move for the future. Any questions?
Steve, it just seems like you talk about drives. It seems like when you guys went ahead 20 to 17.
Yes.
It just seems like you guys gave up 2 back-to-back.
We did.
75-yard scoring.
Yes.
Separate.
That did. Those are what I talked about. We got a little unglued again. I was glad to see we came out from the half strong, because that was something we had struggled with. But we had those 2 back-to-back drives. And what happens with us guys, and I think this has got a lot to do with the youth of our team, we have a hard time sometimes with the responding of that. And we just get off kilter. And I thought we maintained our poise really through the game quite well until that point. And then we kind of jumbled up a little bit on offense as well once we gave up those 2 things. And that's kind of, if you could look at our season, that's what's happened to us. It hasn't been a competition thing. It hasn't been a lack of good enough players. It hasn't been that. It hasn't been toughness. We get those things happen to us like that, those back-to-backs, quick. and we have to respond better. But honestly, that comes with experience. I mean, that comes with, that's what that is. Been here, done that before. We're fine. It's not a lack of competitiveness. It's just experience. So you're right, Keith, and that was a critical point of that game. I really felt like we'd be right in this thing at the end, competing to win the game. I felt great about we were moving the ball really well, and they were struggling. But those two back-to-backs, and then the other thing was we had a couple penalties. We didn't field a kickoff return properly. We had really bad field position. And another drill, we had a couple of back-to-back climb-up penalties that kicked us back with bad field position and pinned us way back. We could have had the ball at the 40-yard line, and we didn't. And the other thing was we wanted to throw the ball at the end, but just our strength is running. We probably, you're just so competitive. You want to just, you want to go get it right now. But that's fine. We learned from that as well. You learn from that as well. They were bringing a bunch of heat at the end there and stuff like that. We just got to do a better job picking that up front. So that's another part of the process.
Talk about the performance by your quarterback, Juice Granger.
Well, I thought he competed hard, and obviously it's unfortunate he had that pick at the end. That was a bad decision. He knows it. But I thought he showed really good leadership skills with our team. His demeanor's good. I always talk about that's important. You got to have great demeanor, man. People, they want to follow the leader. The leader sets for the rate of the pack. And it's all about your demeanor and how you approach things. And I think Juice does give that. And I think our kids believe in that. And that's a positive. But he's got to grow. He's like a redshirt freshman. He's got to grow too, And I know he only has 1 year left to play football, but he hasn't played a lot of football. So we saw some really good positive things from Juice today, and we're excited to build on that. So, there's a couple mistakes in the game. I know there's a few plays he'd like back, a couple of reads in a run game and a throw or two. But all in all, I thought he competed really hard.
Is he your starter heading into the spring? Like, will he be running with the first team offense when you go into the spring, or does it just go back to you?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, let me just say this to you. I'm kind of like, I want to get back in and yes. The answer to the question, the simple answer is yes. All right. But beyond that, it's going to be an open competition on this football team. It's got to be. Listen, we meet tomorrow. Lose track of time. Monday. Tuesday we'll start the most difficult, most competitive off-season training program that's ever been done at this university ever. That will start on Tuesday. Okay? And we are going to get going for the next season, and it's going to be one rough, competitive, tough deal. That's what's going to happen here. So,
what kind of things are you going to do that you haven't done before?
Oh, shit. There's a lot of goodies that we're going to do. It's going to be harder. It's going to be more of a grind. It's going to be more difficult. There's going to be more winner loser, more competitive, more strain on people that pulls out of you. Your worst moments when you're really when you have to go to the brink. So we're going to develop mental toughness, and we're going to get bigger and stronger. We got to get some of these young guys bigger and stronger, and they're excited about it. You can't wait for it. And that's an exciting thing. So I guess in my heart of hearts, when John rattled spring ball off at me, I'm saying to myself, we got a lot to go before that old sucker winds up. There'll be a lot of goodies before spring ball comes here.
Steve, with Montel, it's a unique situation, him coming in on a 1-year deal. But
yes.
Do you think that, even though he was hurt a little bit, he really gave you a chance to compete, maybe win a couple games that you wouldn't have if you didn't have him?
Well, there's no question Montel was great for us, but and if we had Montel early those first 4 weeks, who knows what we might have snuck away with there. But we also had Matt Brown, who he was hurt on and off. I think both those guys we would win the games, But I love Montel because I loved his approach. He's a tremendous guy. There's a veteran guy. He goes about his business. He handles his business, his rehab, his conditioning. You deal with him on the field. You're dealing with a man. He's a man. And we really enjoyed having him. I think he set a good leadership for some of the young guys to follow how you conduct yourself. So, yes, we're very grateful that we had him here, and obviously we wish we had him here even healthy in the beginning, and of course we wish we had Matt Brown healthy all year. I'm so disappointed for that kid today not to be able to be out there today. This was Matt Brown's kind of game today, guys. I'm just telling you. Matt Brown had popped one of them KORs, brought one of those punt returns back. This was a Matt Brown kind of day. We needed him out here today, and I felt bad for him. That kid's such a competitor. This was very difficult for him not to be able to play here. Very, very difficult.
Did you know early on, Steve, as far back as last week, that he wasn't going to be able to go? Or?
Well, we knew it was going to be hard for him to play. When you pop your hamstring like that in a short week, you really have no chance. Those things are usually 4-week injuries. Montel, obviously. okay? It was more than that. It was like a 4 to 8 week injury. But he's such a tough guy, and he's always responded so well that, you never count him out. But it didn't look good a couple days ago, but we really made the final decision today, but we kind of knew. We kind of knew he wasn't going to play in this football game. I mean, he really wanted to play. What are you going to do? You know what I mean? He just wasn't going to be able to push off that leg. He wasn't going to have any drive. It wasn't going to happen. So,
Steve, can you talk about
this season, looking back at the entire season, what's the thing that sticks out the most to you that you're proudest of for this team?
that's a good question, Keith. I mean, I thought we had, when we beat South Florida and Connecticut back-to-back, we really showed a lot of drive. We came back in the second half against Maryland like gangbusters. And I guess you're catching me, and I'm trying to process it all really quickly. It's the way we've responded at different points throughout the season, including today. I'm just proud of our team, man. That's what I'm taking out of the season is this team, all the adversity that we've had, there's all kinds of different adversities, the challenges and the adversities that we've had throughout the season. We never backed off. We dipped a little bit at times, but we never backed off. If you can't like this football program right now, then it's hard for you to be positive or like anything, really. I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, I really see some really good things in the makings. Again, does that mean like you're going to be 12-0 next year? Nah, that's not what I'm talking about. But I mean, we're going to grow. We're going to grow. We're going to get better. We're reloading right now, and I like the reload. I really do. A year, 2 years from now, this team's going to be full of a bunch of really good football players and in a really good place. And so that's exciting. So I don't know, Keith. I guess the way they responded, the way they never gave in.
And the opposite of that, what's the biggest thing you think you guys need to improve on?
Well, I mean, I think the biggest disappointment, obviously, to me, is the fact that our plan to win is based on playing defense, number one. And we just this year we had a hard time with, we lost a lot of guys, and we had a hard time and stopping people. And I'd say the thing that bothered me the most was when it would come in bunches on us a little bit, and it just, and I think, that 4-week stretch we had, it just was, that piece where it wasn't a lack of competition or lack of toughness or lack of not being able to stack up, because really the games were much closer than they appeared to be, but we'd all of a sudden just, bam, 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 almost like in a little microcosm what happened today. Just there was only a couple of them today, though, and play great defense, run the football, be great in special teams. That's our plan to win and score in the red zone. So we ran the ball pretty well this year. Not always perfect. We felt in this game we needed to run the ball for 200 yards. That's our deal. I don't know what we ran the ball for here. 167. So we're a little shy, and part of the problem is we're not getting that thing into the fourth quarter. We probably should have ran it a little bit more, but that 200 mark for us is pretty critical rushing. We gave up today some real critical third down and longs. That's probably the thing. If I had to pick one thing, it's the inability to get off the field on third and long several times this year. And it happened today probably, I don't even know, 2 or 3 times? 3rd and 9, 3rd and 11, 3rd and 12. I think those are the ones, what happens, they're momentum deflators. And those are advantage to the defense, disadvantage to the offense when you're 3rd and 12, 3rd and 11, 3rd and 9. You got to win those. So that's probably the biggest disappointment, I would say, would be the 3rd and longs that we were not able to get off the field on.
So what did you take away from playing in the Big East Conference this season?
I mean, just the fact that, listen, with all due respect to everybody, okay, it's funny, you go and you watch TV and you watch some of these games. I mean, there's a big difference, and it's evident in the Army game, a little bit. You saw how other teams and other conferences competed against them. We competed at a very high level against them. What I learned about the Big East is what I knew. I mean, you're in it week in and week out. I mean, and then our non-conference schedule, I heard about Syracuse. What about ours? I mean, Penn State's as good as any out-of-conference team they played. I mean, they played some big names, but those teams weren't really high this year. I'm just saying that, the week in and week out deal, our non-conference schedule coupled with the Big East, that's what our kids have to get used to that, and that, you got to hold the line in these games week in and week out. But I think we did. The way we responded tells me that we got it in us to get that done, and. But that's the difference, because look, last week was a great momentum builder for us and a great confidence builder and a great juice in our football program, right? Because we beat Army in the way we beat Army. So what happens is when you're not in a different conference and you got 3, 4 of those hanging around, you know they keep you constantly up here. When you take a 4-game skid, sometimes it's hard to, and that's what I'm proud of our team about. They never really stayed down, but it's easy for that to happen. You guys understand what I'm saying? Okay, we played 4 of the better teams in the conference in the last, going up to Army game. So I think we learned how to handle that a little bit better, and I think that's a growing experience for us. So, we're going to be better for that. We'll be better for all that. We'll come out of that thing very, very positive. Not like, sometimes some teams come out of these things, it's like a beat down. There's no beat down here. I mean, there's not. Just a team that wants to compete and play hard. So I think it's a growing experience. So that's what we learned about the Big East, and not that we didn't know it. Maybe our players didn't really have a chance to know it as well as they know it now, and what it'll take to move forward and how hard you got to compete. So it's all good.
Steve, can you talk about how your relationship with Matt evolved from when you first got here to today when he's running out of the tunnel and you're hugging him in the field?
Well, I mean, Matt and I have got a unique relationship. I believe in Matt, and I've stuck by Matt and helped Matt through these hard times. Matt is who he is, and he's a volatile guy who's very competitive, and he has his moments, and you got to, I've had to stick handle him, and because what I appreciate about Matt Brown is he's a competitor. And when I can see a guy that it means so much to him on that football field, and he competes as hard as he does, I love competitors. That's a if that's a flaw in me, then so be it. I have a great appreciation for great competitors, and I'm going to go the extra mile for these guys that go the extra mile on that field. And Matt and I have gone the extra mile, and I'm glad that he was able to come through Temple here and have a good career here. I'm proud of that, and maybe that couldn't have happened at a lot of other places, but our relationship was strong, and I'm proud of the way he's handled himself and brought himself through this year, and I wish him nothing but the best, and will help him in the future.
What about Brandon?
I mean, Brandon was a great player here. He did tremendous things for Temple. We're going to really miss him. I mean, he's a playmaker. He's a weapon, and we're going to miss him. He's a hell of a football player. I mean, he's a bona fide Division I BCS player.
Steve, when you call these guys trailblazers, what do you mean specifically by that?
What I mean is, they took the year and they weren't selfish about the year, and they put themselves, they laid on the tracks a little bit, in terms of, hey, if we had stayed in the conference we were in and all that other good stuff right now, we'd probably be sitting up here right now, 7, 8, 9 wins, getting ready to go to a bowl game. Okay? You don't know that, but, we're not. We're not going to go to a bowl game right now. That's what I mean. They laid themselves on the tracks for the betterment of our program to take a step forward and move forward. And in the future, I'll always remember that from them. And they embraced it. They wanted it. They took this thing head on. It was never about that. It was never about anything to do with that. They loved every minute of it. And our players will benefit from that greatly as we move forward. Greatly, And you got to put your pride down a little bit. We're all competitive. You think that we don't want to be in a bowl game right now? I mean, it's all about that for us. Those are our goals. But we see a bigger picture here, and we know we're going to be back in the bowl game. And we're gonna use this to catapult us, and that's what the seniors did for us. And never did they blink. They never blinked. It wasn't like there was never a decision. It was one decision. Can't wait. We're going into conference, and we're going to go after everything we got. So I have a great appreciation for that. Anything else?
Coach, Syracuse in particular recruits really high from this area, like South Jersey area and around
Yep.
this area. What do you have to do to secure some of that talent as far as bringing them to Temple?
Well, unfortunately, I really can't talk about recruiting, because of the rules. All I can tell you is that, we've got a wonderful university here, and we've got a wonderful facility here, and we've got a great program here, and it's all about direction and energy and passion, and I couldn't be more thrilled about where our program's heading, and I think you'll feel that, and everybody feels that. So we're going to do just fine. We'll do just fine.
Is the pitch, I know you can't talk about specific guys, but is the pitch a little easier when you get into homes now? Is it, are you getting involved with guys that you maybe didn't get involved with before because of the facilities?
You're walking down a path I'm not real comfortable. I'm not sure really what I can say here. I mean, I'm not real sure about that, because the rules wrap around this pretty tight. But I would just tell you this. This is a very desirable place to be for a lot of great reasons. Really, really great reasons. It's the greatest sports city in the country. The university is a phenomenal school academically. We have A1A facilities right now. Okay? We've got great future, great direction. And the city is vibrant. It's exciting to be around Philadelphia right now, and it's all about momentum and juice, and you feel it right here at Temple right now. You feel it, you know. And even through a tough year where we weren't bowl eligible, you still feel it because it's real. Because I mean, people who know football and know Temple know you might have to swallow right now just a little. But that's all right. You know, our day will come. I told you that before. I'm going to say it again. Our day will come, and people know that.